So Lucas has posted some more of his story, in addition to posting just a few things that he seemed to be a little angry about that we talked about earlier. So apparently he didn't like that I completely lost it laughing at his Dangle solar grid. So he decided he was going to explain the Dangle solar grid. We should be good on cats and dogs. Took the dog out before starting the stream, and the cats are sleeping in another room, which will probably change knowing my luck. And I don't day drink, but it's not day anymore, so I do have a decent amount of scotch sitting next to me, because why the hell not? So, since Lucas did not like me laughing at his Dangle solar, I can still hardly say that without laughing. Dangle solar grid, he's going to explain it for us, so we'll start with that. So, we got the Dangle solar grid, and it's 516.27 times larger than the previous record holder. Already he's starting where he's got to be the biggest. I mean, what a surprise there. Lucas has to be the biggest at something. I mean, I get it because, he's a pretty small dude to begin with. But, like, seriously? Seriously? It's got to be bigger than everything? Is that really what we have to do here? I mean, apparently, yes. So I'm not going to knock it too much. All right. Anyway, it's 516.27 times larger than the previous record holder, the DeGrussa Mine solar system. What? Like, this is just it's it's not even like is he even trying? Like, is he honestly even trying? Is he really? Oh, I clearly I don't read it very well. I stop every other word because it's gear shifting my brain without a clutch. Then again, I didn't fail out of high school and college twice, so that might be part of the reason. So the previous record holders, DeGrussa Mine solar system in Australia, but was quick to be toppled by the Sahara Free Energy System. And wow, the Sahara Free Energy System is in the Sahara Desert. I honestly expected he would say something like it was in the middle of fucking Paris. But hey, good for you. You figured out that the Sahara Desert would be where the Sahara Free Energy System should be. I don't understand why the other one's a solar system. I know Australia is big, but it's not that big. So anyway, the Sahara Desert, which was the size of Wyoming, does he know how big the Sahara Desert is in comparison to literally any state? I mean, that's rhetorical, obviously, no. Oh, again, if you hear a grindy, chewy noises in the background, dog's still gnawing at the deer carcass, which I did not put on the back of a Kawasaki to get here. I just dragged it in from the backyard. Size of Wyoming could power the Earth entirely. Okay, so if you have one grid that can power the Earth entirely, I get having like at least one as a backup because you always want to have a fail safe. That's probably not what he was thinking, but that's at least what I would think is you want a fail safe. Why does he have to I mean, I know why he has to compare size because he's got a little second belly button, for his own. So he's a little sensitive to size. Understandably, I probably would be too if I were, Lucas sized. But where did my mouse cursor go? Oh, looks like click back on the right window, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got something the size of Wyoming in the Sahara Desert that can power the Earth entirely, and came online in 2052. So did we just jump from when the hell was Oliver Dangle 41 2030? I think so. We've jumped like 20 some years up. All right, came online in 2052. 100 100,000 times bigger than the. I'm not good at math. Okay, I'm extremely bad at math. I'm extremely bad with numbers, but the the Dingle Dangle grid was in fucking Delaware. Okay, Delaware is small. Okay, but somehow this the Dingle Dangle grid in Delaware was a very specific 516.27 times larger than something in Australia, but that was taken over by something the size of Wyoming in the Sahara Desert that was 100,000 times big. So Wyoming is not 100,000 times bigger than Delaware. It's not. It's just that's not how math works. I mean, it's this is like the shit like you see in a nightmare math book when you're taking a test. So anyway, the one that's 100,000 times bigger than the Dingly Dangly solar Dingle. Did he mean solar grid for the Australian one? I think he meant solar grid and he wrote system. Anyway, Dingle Dangle taking 20 years to complete the largest structure by human minds and robotic hands, moving at 756 miles per hour or the speed of sound around the clock. That would be fucking loud. Did he find a way to like destroy the concept of a sonic boom that happens when you break the speed of sound? Because if it took 20 years running at the speed of sound, there would be a constant reverberating hideous. I mean, that would destroy any life that was in that area. The Sahara Desert, I'm sure Lucas isn't aware, is not a lifeless pit of sand. Deserts actually do contain life. It is a fully functioning ecosystem the way it is, and 20 years of a constant sonic boom would fuck everything, or it would kill everything. Oh, the Oliver Dangle grid took 3 years to build at 30 miles per hour. What is this mixing of speed and time? Oh, and they took breaks for the Dingle Dangle grid. But this was his attempt to clarify us laughing at his Dangle solar grid, and he just made it worse. Yeah, Lucas will never. I mean, Lucas will always be Gen Z, but he'll never have. Yeah, Dingle Dangle is. I'm going to be calling him Oliver Dingle Dangle now. How much you want to bet Lucas changes the name after we make fun of it enough? Anyway, this was his attempt to explain shit, and he didn't explain anything. He just made it more convoluted and a mess. Yeah, a mess is an understatement. There's no coherent thought process here. Just a stupid meme that he stole. Another stupid meme that he stole. But now here's the part. So in the last stream, I talked about black powder briefly when he talked about the rifle he was using to hunt the lean deer to throw on his Kawasaki to take back to his apartment. He copied this first part verbatim from the first result you get if you Google how is black powder made or what does black powder contain, one of the two. I don't feel like switching tabs to figure out what the actual Google was. But black powder consists of a fuel, charcoal, duh, an oxidizer, saltpeter or nitrate, yeah, and a stabilizer, sulfur. You think that's why it smells the way it does? To allow for a constant reaction, the reaction would be slow like a wood fire if not for the oxidizing agent. Yeah, dude, I know. I didn't have to copy it from a web page to prove that I knew it. We're going to skip over that. You can look it up yourself if you want to. But the saltpeter in the gunpowder provides the oxygen, blah, blah, blah. So now he's back to Oliver Dingle Dangle logging Delaware. How many miles per hour did he log, Lucas? You didn't tell us how many miles per hour Oliver logs forest that. Anyway, Oliver took to making dynamite to clear the mile square of 640 acres for 3 years. He made dynamite for 3 years. You know, dynamite is when you use dynamite, it doesn't reduce matter to nothing. It's going to. Okay, first of all, the amount of dynamite that you would have to use to clear a square mile of heavy forest, which is what you're implying here, would be ridiculous. You would destroy everything and you would be left with basically useless splinters that would take you longer than 3 goddamn years to clean up. Do you not understand how anything works? Converting the tree, okay, first of all, you wouldn't get tree pulp, you would get splinters. You would get lots and lots of splinters. And then you would have to gather those up, which would be a hell of a lot harder than just logging like a normal person. But, you know, Oliver, the big, muscly, egg roll eating biker, he's got to blow things up because bigger is better. Mama didn't raise no liar. I don't know. Maybe he thinks we're making up the physics, or that he thinks that he's making up the physics and pulling them out of his ass, which he absolutely is. And he was kind of mad that, hey, puppy, don't dig the couch. Yeah, thank you. Hey, don't dig the couch. He's trying to dig into the couch. He's a puppy. So, 604. So what's he making the dynamite out of? Where's he getting the materials for the dynamite? Did he just steal the dynamite? What happened to the skyscraper building shit from New York he towed down on his Kawasaki? Why didn't he use that? What? whatever. So he's making dynamite to clear the mile square of 640 acres for 3 years. I don't know, because it's cooler than logging it with like an axe or a chainsaw. Or hi, kitty. I maybe fire is not a no, fire is a thing, but only in barbecues and barrels. Hi, cat. You're too big to be there. Converting the tree pulp into biofuel along the way with a machine he got from New York City. Remember the skyscraper building machine that he towed back? That's apparently now being used to make biofuel from the magic pulp. I don't understand. Hey, leave the kitty alone. Hey, what are you doing? Sorry, dog again. Puppy. Hey. Thank you. The biggest cat is in here, and the dog likes to try to wrestle with him, and the cat does absolutely nothing to not encourage that. So the skyscraper building machine is now turning wood pulp into ethanol, claiming he'd bring in solar and biostate energy. Mama didn't. Okay, so he's trying to say that Oliver's not a liar because he made dynamite to clear a mile square of 640 acres for 3 years, magically converting the tree pulp that would have been splinters if he just blew everything up into biofuel along the way with a machine he got from New York City, claiming he'd bring in solar and biostate. How are you going to get? Fine. Mama didn't raise no liar. Apparently she raised just a fucking lunatic, though. Okay, what are you doing? Hey. He's just grooming the cat now. And here's another stupid meme he stole. Here's just something he stole from effing birds, which does not deserve this. This is not a meme. This is part of his story, other than the effing birds part. Hey. This is worse than kids. Would you hold on? I gotta separate two morons. Hey. Yeah, stay out there. All right, Kat decided it was time to just hop the baby gate and go in the other room, which was what I was going to do with him anyway. So, without money, because there was no official government. Okay, these two things are not created. Even before human societies had like official elected governments or even anything that you could consider a formal government, there were still forms of currency. Maybe not the type of currency we know as like coins and paper money and shit like that, but barter systems, that's technically types of currency. Anyway, there was no official government. Everyone ordered from reprogrammed internet sites by their worker. Why is his grammar so bad? Is he high? Everyone ordered from reprogrammed internet sites by their workers to end class struggle. Everything, as Oliver knew, could be ordered online and delivered for free. No one had the codes to anything nuclear, remember? How is that question even remotely related to any of the past thoughts? How? It's not. He's trying to explain this and like make it seem like his story is great, and it's just fucking terrible. Hi, kitty. You're back here again. Just stay up on my chair, and the dog will leave you alone. Why do the nuclear codes matter? Who? He doesn't even know how. I imagine he doesn't even know how coding works because the coding doesn't. God damn it, Lucas. I'm not gonna think about it too hard. We're moving on. This is here we got Oliver. This has to be Oliver, and oh my god, did he pick? First of all, that guy's on a bicycle, but he picked some random quote unquote biker that actually vaguely looks like Fat Lucas did back in like 2010. This is Lucas's OC. No one needed money. The CEOs went to Mars. They were cut off by the lowly computer. Okay, nobody thinks programmers are really lowly unless they maybe work in project management, because project managers are just sociopaths for the most part. But first they went to China, then they went to the garbage dump moon, then they went to Mars. But earlier he said Mars had been wrapped into all this weird bullshit. So are they still on? Why did only the CEOs go to Mars? What about the billionaires and millionaires that weren't CEOs, like the generational wealth people or people who won the lottery or got lucky with crypto, or I mean, that picture he used, I know it's supposed to be Oliver, but he 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 must have looked for somebody who looked vaguely like him when he was younger and fatter. I mean, he's actually probably heavier than this guy. I shouldn't, but oh my god. Okay. So the lowly computer programmers cut off the CEOs on Mars. I guess everyone else on Mars can still communicate. They just cut off the CPU or the CEOs, and everything became available without fiat cash or crypto. Does he understand? I don't think he understands what crypto is either. I mean, that's not surprising. Even people who claim to understand what crypto is usually don't know what crypto is or how it works. Getting in the way when the president dissolved the government and stepped down in 2025, following a no vote proclamation to the people who approve. If there was a no vote proclamation, how do you know they approved? They couldn't vote on it. Did you just assume that they approved? That's not how no voting works. That's President Wern. I honestly wish that he would just like try to run for president, like for real, but I know he never would because it unfortunately takes money to do that seriously. The road to communism has never been convincing everyone to be communist, but stressing to breaking point the contradictions of capital by any means available. Well, he hasn't done that yet. You're licking my hair. Stop licking my hair. The kittens were this morning. Now it's the big, huge, fat one who has got a paw on my head and is licking my hair. It's very flattering, but I wish he would stop. Oliver liked to make his own dynamite. Well, we figured that out when he blew up the whole goddamn forest. And also liked building rockets to try to land them on the moon. With what? The trees? I mean, you can pursue your hobbies with or without capital, depending on what they are, but if your hobbies are to blow up forests and send rockets to the moon, okay, that requires like, well, maybe blowing up forests doesn't require much education, but getting rockets that can even get to a high altitude, let alone low orbit or out of orbit, or out of close orbit at any rate, that takes a lot of education where physics and math are concerned, and Lucas has already demonstrated very clearly that he cannot even do basic math. I mean, and why would you want to go to the moon? That's where he said earlier Oliver was sending all the garbage from Delaware. Yeah, let's go to the moon, to the garbage dump. Jeez. I think Lucas thinks you could hollow out a tree trunk and put some dynamite in it and like rocket it up to the moon, because that probably worked in old Looney Tunes cartoons. Mile of trees takes a considerable while with a chainsaw. I mean, if there's only one person, but why wouldn't Oliver, barter with somebody like, hey, I'm trying to build a solar grid to make life easier for everyone. Y'all want to help me cut down this forest? He's not even explaining how he pulped the things and how pulp turned into biofuel. I mean, technically it's biofuel no matter what it's biodegradable, it's biological, it's a life thing. If you burn it, it's biofuel. You could just burn it the way it is. Whatever. The dynamite come in handy. Sorry, I accidentally did correct grammar there. Dynamite come in handy, so them college students from up Wilmington University bored shitless with those great minds of theirs. That's it. That's the sentence. Oh, there's a second image in this one. But that's not even a full thought. Dynamite come in handy, so them college students from up Wilmington University bored shitless with those great minds of theirs. It is not a complete thought, dude. It is not a complete thought. Oliver was an idea man who liked space and had no money. sounds like Lucas's first round of college when he wanted to be an astrophysicist from a community college. My God, this is so insane. I'm like, for my own sanity, I have to believe he's doing this for comedic effect now. Like, he cannot possibly be taking this seriously. Either way, I gotta give him credit. This is funny as shit. It's probably not funny for the reasons that he would like it to be funny, but it's funny. So Oliver, the idea man, likes space and has no money in a world where everything was free. Why does it matter if he had no money in a world where everything was free? Oliver was an idea man who liked space and had no money in a world where everything was free by the time he turned 32 after China crashed to anarcho-communism, the last country to do so after the United States in 29 3 years past. Again, not really a complete thought, but there's a second image to this one, so let's see what we got. Oliver was a motorcycle. He has to be doing this on purpose. This is hilarious. Oliver was a motorcycle and make your own machines kind of guy, which is totally why he went up to New York and Kawasaki to skyscraper constructor, which is not really a thing, back down to Delaware. Not too educated, just like Lucas, just real curious and always broke, just like Lucas. Now it doesn't matter. He hires and buys were freely available online. I mean, they still are. Do you know what Fiverr is? You could like go to Fiverr and like hire people to do shit too. Since no one got paid and all goods were nothing to purchase, people just ran the service sector as volunteers out of humble resolve to get shit done. That, again, is not how it works. Robotics and computer hacking skyrocketed. What does that have to do with Oliver being a motorcycle guy who probably flunked out of high school and is real curious and just Oliver is Lucas's self-insert. That's why the last name is Dangle, because Lucas wishes he was big enough to have some dangle. You know, got any dangle? Let's see if he's done anything since that one went up. That one was 2 hours ago, so probably not. Oh, no, just a meme. You know, I'm on an old Catfish account. I could probably just, like, message him and be like, hey, why don't you come and join us? Post some more of your damn stories. So, this is, I don't know where this came from, but this is a story that he wrote basically based on a thing that was on his old Weebly site called The Assembly. There's a video on that a few days back on this channel. Otherwise, it's somewhere buried in virtualwern.com. It was his idea for a world government, and now he's turning it into a short story with a self-insert. Named Oliver Dangle, which I'm sure is just because Lucas does wish that he had enough to dangle, and he really doesn't. I'm guessing most of you are from Kiwi Farms and have seen the pictures. If you haven't seen the pictures, you don't want to. Just hold your thumb up. That's how big Lucas is. And it's not bad angles. Those were full frontal shots. I was kind of hoping he would upload another chapter of his stupid self-insert OC. I shouldn't even be making fun of self-inserts because those are a lot of fun for a lot of people, but Lucas, like, can't even do that right. It's just, well, I mean, yeah, obviously it was a self. So he's got two self-inserts in his story. He's got Oliver Dingle Dangle, and he's got President Wern, which maybe it's not fair to call President Wern a self-insert. That's just straight up him. But Oliver Dangle, I mean, does Lucas wish he was a muscly biker who could build rockets from dynamite blown up forests? I would love to know his thought process on this. I mean, I'd DM him and ask him questions about the story on one of the accounts that he actually talks to, but then he'd actually he's probably too stupid to figure out who I was. Probably won't follow him back on this old Catfish account, because he totally blocked it last time after I wouldn't video chat him because I'm not a Vietnamese girl. That was when he was back into the Asian women things. The Dangle is just like, why would of all the surnames you could possibly pick for your OC, why would you pick Dangle and why would you pick Oliver? I mean, I guess Oliver is a fairly normal name, but Dangle, like, where? I know he doesn't watch these live. I know he comes back and watches them later, because he does stalk this channel, despite the fact that, I mean, YouTube's block feature is absolute crap anyway. but he does stalk this channel and he does watch the shit that gets uploaded and he does read the comments. He's actually not blocked from leaving comments anymore, but apparently he doesn't know that. Oliver Dangle is already married, sir. Did you not read the last chapter? Oliver Dangle got married at 41 after putting up the dingle dangle solar grid that's 500 and something point something times bigger than the solar system of Australia, which is not as good as the Wyoming sized solar grid in the Sahara. He is a married man and he doesn't do polygamy. That would be greedy. I love the fact that Lucas has created fictional world lore and it's just completely nonsensical. Oh yeah, I haven't refreshed the comments on the last one. His videos have been boring lately. It's always been board game shit. But dude, whoever is encouraging this dumbass to keep writing this story, please keep encouraging him. This is hilarious. It's not hilarious for the reasons Lucas would want it to be. I'm sure Lucas takes it very seriously, but this is funny as hell. God, what's to explore? I mean, let's see. The millionaires went to China, the narcissists went to Canada. Argentina now extends from Mexico to Argentina, but then Mexico came back later. President Wern stepped down in 2025, and then 5 years later it was 2029. He didn't actually give the wife's name. I'm going to guess it's some variant of his mother's name based on things he said in the past about how he thought his mom was hot. But oh yeah, we need some Oliver Dangle fanfic. You know, maybe some it wouldn't be Gen Z, would it be not even Gen Alpha, would be up into like the 20 whatever the hell comes after Gen Alpha. Maybe she can come along and seduce Oliver and his mature telomeres to leave his old ass wife, because you know by the time he's in his like 50s, well, she's gonna be past her prime if they haven't already had kids. His wife can be anyone. It could be you. You could write yourself in as Oliver Dangle's wife. You could be Mrs. Dangle with the dynamite forest and the barrel fire outside of an abandoned house and the 10 blankets to keep you warm in the winter with the barrel fire, because Oliver likes to build things, but apparently he doesn't know how to build a fireplace inside a goddamn house. He's his poor wife in general. I feel worse for her if she had a name. Then I'd just really start feeling bad for her. And he specifically stated that Dingle Dangle was using the moon as a garbage dump. I don't know why you wouldn't just use landfills on Earth, but no, we use the moon as a garbage dump, and then we turn it into a colony and a garbage dump. And then all the billionaires and millionaires fled to Mars, but got cut off by programmers. But then Mars became part of the Earth Luna garbage dump thing. He can build. Well, the biofuel machine is better than a barrel fire because you can make rockets with it and go to Mars to 3D print islands from asteroids because everyone wants to live in Hawaii. I did not just make that up. If you were not here earlier for the first one, that was part of the plot. They started mining asteroids with 3D printers and robots to build more islands because everybody wanted to live in Hawaii. Yeah. No, Oliver wasn't president. Oliver spent his time in the Gulag, in the Gulagarchy that ran from 2025 to 2029. And his Gulag assignment was to ride around on his Kawasaki motorcycle with his body cam on. No, he didn't. He just mandated no elections, which everyone approved of. I don't know how he knows they approved because they weren't allowed to vote on it. But hmm. The dog goes to sleep while I'm doing these. I'm honestly making it up as I go. I mean, I'm gonna be super interested to see how much of it Lucas steals. because we probably have better ideas here and in this chat than Lucas has for Oliver himself. Like a Kawasaki, why wouldn't he? I still get stuck on the hauling deer. And what happened to his studio apartment with the free box? Did he not ever go back and dump the deer carcasses in there for his neighbors? Lucas doesn't know what a gulag is. He had a meme up a few months ago where he was explaining how it was all Western propaganda, that the gulags weren't really prisons. They were basically like free colleges where they gave you room and board and free education, and everyone was happy. He does not know what a gulag is. He really doesn't. And I will be fair to the point that there is a lot of what is taught about the Soviet Union that is largely based in propaganda or is overstated because of the whole Cold War thing. But the gulags are not really in that basket. They're just kind of the gulagarchy. I just like the 3D printers building islands. Like he doesn't realize that the planet is capable of forming. I mean, if you look at some of the islands in the Hawaii chain, they're still being actively built by the planet. But yeah, where's that? I wonder what account did he put that on? I think he put that on his old channel. Let me see if I can find that stupid Stalin meme. Oh, did I go into full screen mode? Gross. F11. There we go. Let's just... Let's just hop over to that one. What the hell was his old name? Lucas Werner 79? Werner 79. Fake. Oh shit, that's right. He blocked me on that account. Oh crap. I gotta go back to my... Ugh. Wonder if I have another account here that I can get into that's not... I don't want to go back on my main account. Because I have some messages waiting for me, and I think the tab is actually open that I would go directly into my DMs with him, and I don't want to do that. Let's see. He blocked me on this one. Do I have another one here that I can switch to that he's not blocked on? Oh no! Look at this. This was a fucking catfish name that I made, and he bought this hook, line, and goddamn sinker. I don't know if I actually have one in this browser that can get in there. Let me just pop over to Chrome and risk him seeing that I'm online. My Chrome window's not actually going to show up here, but Lucas Werner 79. Oh, how far back did he bury this thing? Oh, or was this on his other one? Oh, there's the one where he was threatening to call the cops on people if they didn't hook him up. Oh, I wonder if he put it on what was the other one? Extendo 2000? I think the other one might have been Extendo 2000. Let me see if it's on that one, because it's not on his Lucas Werner 79 one. I'm pretty sure it was Extendo 2000. I have no idea what Extendo 2000 actually was supposed to mean. I think it was on this one. Oh, there's the one with his nasty rotten teeth. Okay, just look at this really quick. Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth. They're just all rotten and nasty. Anyway. Where's your stupid Stalin meme, Tubby? Flashing his 1400 that he got promptly robbed of by his friends. Bunch of screaming videos. He put a lot of screaming videos on this Extendo 2000 one. Ugh. Where is his... I have no idea where he put his Stalin meme. I wonder... I think it was a thumbnail for one of my videos. Maybe I can find it there, because that meme was something else. It was just kind of a hilarious level of dumb. Oh, I'm pretty sure I made it a thumbnail for something, so maybe I can at least find which video it's in. Oh, there's the titty squeezing thumbnail. Didn't need to see that again. Yeah, Stalin's Gulags. Here we go. It was on his extendo one. It must just be buried in the third or fourth. Yeah, there's the cops. You don't give me a girl. Here we go. Stalin's Gulags. I'm just gonna. So Stalin's Gulags. He's got a picture of Stalin smiling on there. So here's what he thinks a gulag was: 2-week annual holidays at home, marriages allowed, cabins for married prisoners, family stay with prisoners. Oh, that's called arresting the entire family. Wages equal to common citizens. I don't think he's aware of the poverty level. Sending savings to family allowed, no prison uniform, no leg irons and handcuffs, common living, no so. That's a concentration camp, you dumb fuck. Freedom of movement inside the gulag area. Again, concentration camp. Awards, rewards, and reliefs for prisoners. Education, music, and theater for prisoners. That is what he thinks a gulag is. He legitimately thinks it's like some fantasy island where everybody loved to go. And yeah, he's dumb as shit. That is what he thinks a gulag is. So yeah. Oh, right. I probably should flip over to that screen. I wish I could actually just find the one he had on his Instagram, because of course he's going to accuse me of making up the screenshot later, but let's jump back over to there. Where are I? Going between two screens and they're not in the right order, so I always move my mouse cursor backwards. So let's see here. That's Lucas. Oh, I'm like, why isn't it showing up in the browser? It's like, well, maybe I should look in the correct browser before I actually do that sort of thing. I know how to use a computer. Don't tell me I don't know how to use a computer. How many windows do I have open? Too many windows, apparently. I don't know how to close anything, it looks like. And the window I'm looking for doesn't show up because it wants me to refresh everything. Whatever. That's what print screen does. You would think I would know how to scroll through windows, but apparently I do not. Cat, do not jump on the keyboard. You've been sleeping nicely for the last hour. Go back and sleep nicely, so I don't have to mess with you. And of course, a cat just jumps like right onto the keyboard because why not? She knocked all of my screens out of order. She's lucky she's cute. Oh, we're yelling at something. Yeah, I wish I could find that on his Instagram because I don't think he deleted comments from it, and that makes it better. Oddly enough, the fact that he just didn't delete any comments or anything from it. God's sake, cat. I adore this cat, but she just knocked all of my screens out of order for everything because she jumped directly onto the keyboard. How nice of her. She closed all my docs. She closed all my windows. She closed everything. Oh, kitty. There we go. This cat, I swear. Surprised she didn't close the whole stream. Damn. Okay, there you are. I have no idea what combination of keys that cat's paws all hit, but she hit them. Okay, let's get all these back out of the way. Get you saved so you show up correctly. Don't save it somewhere where she's trying to get back on the keyboard again. She's a very, very nice cat, but I very, very much am not pleased with her at the moment. Come on. All right, let's get back to the stupid meme of Stalin's Gulags. I still can't believe he like seriously posted that. Hmm. That's the Kiwi Farms. Where are you in the list here? Nope, not you, not you. Apparently, I have like 30 things open in my image editor, and it's wanting me to guess at which correct one I have I have saved this as. And most of them are just actually screenshots of other Lucas memes. So don't. Wern would die in like 2 seconds in a gulag. Oh my lord! Would you just stop that? Back to the desktop. How did she hit so many keys to just close every single window I had open, except obviously the studio? Get out of the way. Open it again. Okay, there, it finally opened. There you are. Excellent. Okay. Let's not show a slideshow of everything on my screen. Okay, apparently we're doing slideshows. Let's not do that. Because the last thing y'all need to see are all of my Lucas thumbnails that I just never got rid of. Nobody needs to see that. I don't need to see that. I need to clean off my desktop. There we go. Not something with a goddamn slideshow that nobody needs to see. All right, where are you buried in my list of windows I can show? I have 4 instances of Notepad open. Hmm. Why do I have 4 instances of Notepad open? I swear I know how to use a computer. Kind of. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. There. There's his stupid. I took a screenshot of my own YouTube thumbnail or YouTube image, but this was it. It lasted for like 5 seconds. This is the meme. Yeah, I know it's been 100 years. Apparently, I have bad spatial awareness tonight. I have been drinking. Moving between two monitors when they're set up the opposite sides of the way the mouse should move, and it's just easier to apparently struggle with it and cats. Oh yeah, Lucas is totally oppressed. Yeah, this he put this up in like all seriousness. He did not see anything. No leg irons. Well, they his grasp of history is amazing. I'm pretty sure that the only reason, actually, I'm surprised he's never tried to argue that Hitler was socialist because of the German name of the Nazi Party. Um, I'm very surprised he's never tried to argue that they were socialist. Um, yeah, because that seems Yeah, the meme is nonsense. The meme is clear just disregard for actual history or believing that all history is propaganda. And in history, to a degree, is propaganda. It's typically written by the winner. Um, but yeah, this was something that he posted in all seriousness, and he did not understand why people thought it was bullshit because he's a moron. He's an absolute complete moron. I wonder why he abandoned this account. Like this one, this was a great account. This Extendo 2000 one. He's gonna come back and probably watch the chat replay and he'd know we're fucking with him. But like this was so funny when he posted this because he thought this was like a lot of money. It was the $1,400 stimulus, and he was flashing this around in public, and his quote unquote friends at the time, the ones who were only his friends when he was giving him weed, they just robbed him fucking blind. But the fact that he thinks $1,400 is a lot of money to like anyone, he probably did. My guess is he forgot the password to the Lucas Murder 79 one as well. He does occasionally get banned, but typically, Instagram would delete his account. And yeah, Lucas doesn't read. But yeah, this account had so many great like screaming hits, and this white mask is one of my favorites because when he starts screaming with the white mask, it looks like his mouth is a vertical slit, and it's so horrifying. It's just so thoroughly horrifying. And he had that nasty yellow shirt and the stupid jacket. And then there's this face. Like, what is? How does somebody have fat eyelids? Just like how? I know other people have asked that same question, but how do you get specifically fat eyelids? Like that has to be just some really nasty water retention. Oh yeah, Lucas's friends. I mean, it was so obvious they were never his friends. They only showed up, and he would bitch about this publicly. They would only show up when they wanted weed or booze because a couple of them were under 21, or they wanted like free food or a place to stay or weed, and they would promise to hook him up every single time. They would promise to hook him up, and he fell for it every single time. And I'm guessing he made this face every single time he got stood up by his friends. And also this pickup line of his, um, doesn't work. If somebody looked at me with that facial expression and said, "Hi, I'm Lucas. What's your name?" I would assume he wanted to kill me. Um, oh, he got robbed multiple times last year when he was homeless, and it was always by his buddy Isaac. And Isaac's brother actually beat him up a couple of times. But yeah, they would promise to hook him up with women or bring women back to whatever like Motel 6 shady room he was renting, and then they would basically just exclude him, steal his shit, like get him drunk, get him high, and bolt. Like when he was bragging one time that they brought people over to the Motel 6 room and they ate a bunch of Mexican, and while he was in the bathroom of the hotel room destroying it in his own words, all of the friends and the women just like left and they robbed him as they left. He gets his shit stolen all the time. He's had his phone stolen like 3 times. He's had basically all of his stimulus money stolen each time he got stimulus. He gets robbed for, and it's maybe technically not robbery when he buys it himself, but they will tell him that they'll hook him up if he gets them weed, if he gets them booze, if he gets them food, and they'll take the weed, the booze, and the food, and they'll just leave him. I mean, he's just dumb as shit, and he falls for it every single time. Um, but sometimes, a couple of times, he took pictures with Isaac to prove that they were friends. And in every video that Isaac was in, Isaac was like straight up making fun of him and claimed that. And Lucas would be like, "No, no, no, we're just horsing around. It's just friendly." And it's like, no, he doesn't like you. But yeah, this face, this is the face he probably made every time he realized he'd been hoodwinked again. Um, but yeah, those are that is the facial expression of somebody who will take you somewhere where there are no witnesses and murder you. Yeah, I'm sure he forgot the password for this one. And this, I'm going to go back up to the one where he shows his nasty teeth. And I'll be fair, maybe it's the filter, but oh my god, just look at that. Right? Do you know how bad that must smell? I can smell that by looking at it. I mean, just ugh. I don't know. I don't have any good advice on quitting smoking. I just actually stopped because one day I went to light up, and every time I smelled it, it made me nauseous. So my method of quitting was my body forced me to by making it disgusting. Uh, you could just kind of picture that maybe your breath smells like Lucas's mouth looks when you smoke. That might be some motivation there. I don't think he knows how reset password works. He had trouble when he was in college the last time figuring out how to get the online classes to work. Because he couldn't figure out how to like reset his password that he forgot. He's just he's just really dumb and really technologically stupid. Yeah, that's a great motivation. You don't want to have Lucas breath. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of kings. There, King Daddy, first result. Let's go back and see if he's uploaded anything else. I really wish he'd upload some more, but he's probably, what time is it there now? Oh, so it's probably just around dinner time. What we got here on Betty White? Yeah, he thinks Lenin was, I mean, granted, Lenin was arguably better than Stalin in terms of how many people he murdered. But, oh, and Lucas's last computer that he had wasn't even like a real computer. It was basically just a Chromebook. Um, Chromebooks are fine. I have a Chromebook too. It's just a beat up old piece of trash that I have for some reason. But he claims he spilled like water or something on it, and the keys stopped working. So he basically just uses a phone. Um, and he was running into trouble with some of his classes because they were designed to like work on a computer and not like a shitty phone. So he had to go on campus and use the public computers to do his classes. Yeah, and Lucas, I mean, Lucas used to smoke too, and there are rumors kind of, oh, you even put rumors aside, Lucas has admitted he doesn't shower regularly. Um, like with the LA Saga thing, he said he hadn't showered in 2 weeks. So same underwear, same clothes, same everything for 2 weeks. He's also admitted in the past to pissing and shitting himself. And then there are rumors of people who've been around him that say he smells like piss and onions. So he used to smoke. So let's just imagine that smell mixed with cigarette smoke. You want to smell like Lucas? Keep smoking. That was kind of mean. I don't think he did actually. He just if you mention it or if you bring it up, he's like, "Well, I was on the honor roll and I had like the top grades numbers in the class and my teachers liked me." But he didn't even make it a semester. He like literally did not even make it half a semester before he just quit going to class. Um, and every time he went to class, there were pictures. I think those are on the Lucas Warner 79 one. But he would post creeper shots of like other students sitting in study groups at tables and just assume that if it was one dude and like more than one woman that he was fucking all of them. Like no, they're probably just a study group. Not everybody is fucking all the time, Lucas. That's you wish you were, but you won't. I mean, he also thinks that there's like secret warehouses or parties that people are specifically not inviting him to that are just chock full of women who would be chomping at the bit to get at him, but the flat bills gatekeep him. Like this is not him like making up things. He legitimately thinks that shit. Lucas, come on, post some more of your damn story. Just hit refresh. Nope. Oh, this was one of his recent memes. It's like that's correlation does not equal causation, which he probably has no idea what that means. I wonder how long before he loses this Instagram account, to be honest. But he's probably going to be careful with this one because he doesn't want to start over again. Yeah, that's. I mean, you're making a joke, but that is seriously what he thinks happens. Like he thinks that. First of all, he thinks everybody knows him. He thinks he has the most popular vlog in Spokane, which he absolutely does not. He thinks everyone in Spokane knows him. Like he legit thinks he's a social media influencer slash celebrity. And he, honest to God, thinks that people know him and are jealous of him. So they purposely hide where these parties are to keep him from getting laid, but use information he puts out there to get laid. This is like not shit that Kiwi Farms made up. This is stuff that he actually believes. He's made videos about it. He's made memes about it. He thinks there is some grand conspiracy to hide women from him. And he also thinks that he's owed women. I mean, that's obvious enough. He'll claim that he's never said that, but there's tons of video, tons of memes that he's made where he basically thinks that he is owed a woman because he's given shit to the homeless, because he's nice. Yeah, nobody's jealous of Lucas. Like, maybe somebody who would like a room at Malin Place rather than being homeless would be jealous that Lucas has one, but literally nobody's jealous of Lucas. Yeah, I mean that's really what it is. But he'll claim, and that's the thing too. He claims 18 and over, but as recently as March 2020, he was hitting up somebody who turned out to be an actual 17-year-old. She came into the comments of the video when Lucas started lying about what they were talking about. He knew she was 17. She told him she was 17. She told him she was still in high school. He reiterated that he knew that, and he still lied to her about how age of consent laws work and tried to get her to sneak out, saying COVID wasn't a risk and that they would deal with her parents after they were a couple. He would like DM her after she had logged off or left, saying, "Tell me you love me." He's if he ever got somebody who didn't think to Google who he was before agreeing to meet him, he would absolutely drag her someplace with no witnesses and assault her. He absolutely would. Yeah, he always just say years ago or it's a joke. On the golden USB one, he claimed that pissing himself was a joke. Um, he claimed the under 18 was a joke. He claimed basically if he ever gets called out on something illegal or something really trashy or disgusting, he'll claim it was a joke or that it was so long ago that it shouldn't matter. He still has, and I think he might be on a Facebook ban again. But all of those screenshots of him admitting to being a pedophile are still up on his Facebook. You have to be his friend to be able to see those posts, which I am his friend on Facebook. But they're still there. And when those were pointed out to him and shown to him, he claimed that his roommates at the time did it. Um, but he didn't go back and delete those posts. And then he claimed they were jokes. Yeah, there's that old video. It's in one of the old vintage Wern compilations where he was filming a girl who was passed out on the couch, talking about what a great guy he was because he didn't assault her and could have. Like, no, that just means you were afraid of getting caught. Yeah, he's a complete narcissist, and of course, like every other narcissist out there, he thinks he's an empath. He is the least emotionally aware person I have ever met. I mean, there's a couple accounts I have that I've been talking to him on since like 2019. He is the most self-centered, narcissistic asshole you could ever want to meet. And there are two reasons I think that he has not like freaked out on me totally on those accounts. And on one of them, it's because he thinks I'm a man, so I'm not a threat to him, and I'm not after the same type of women that he's after. So he doesn't really care enough to get pissed about anything. And on the other one, he thinks I'm a 20-something-year-old woman, and he thinks I'm pretty. He has seen pictures of me, but they are pictures of me heavily made up and in various wigs. He thinks I am a 25-ish, 26-ish-year-old woman, and he has flirted with me before, which is as disgusting as you would think. It just kind of leaves you feeling like you need to go take a roll in a tub full of bleach. But being in the late 20s that I am, I'd be outside of his desired range anyway. So yeah, yeah. You don't know horror until look at yes. Shut up. I am when I'm all made up. Otherwise, I look like just a pretty normal dude and not a heavily made up woman. No, thank Christ, he has not ever called me an ovulator, but he has called me beautiful, attractive, gorgeous, anything like that. Thankfully, he has not called me sexy once because I might have to go die if he ever did that. But just being called pretty by him is creepy enough. And then on like one of the accounts that he follows that he also thinks is a woman, I just like go to page 12 or 13 of Google Images and just like get pictures of like this random person. And the downside of having Lucas follow you on social media and like stealing selfies of somebody else, or even oh god, or even it's not even when it's somebody else, but sometimes it's the ones of me, where he will tell me privately that I look gorgeous, and it's like, oh God, no. And then occasionally he'll just comment on random posts, and the downside of having the DM access to Lucas is that he sometimes likes your post, and that other people see that he follows you. Thankfully, none of my accounts are actually any of my real social media, so it's not me. It's not anything about my life. It's just pictures I fucking steal from Google Images. Um, but yeah, it still is. Ugh, no, it's gross. Yeah, he's just gross. That ovulator comment, I still can't believe he did that and did it in his sexy voice and thought like anybody would find that attractive. The Tiffy Bay little ovulator gonna go beat up the flat bills with their tattoos because that's his fantasy, is beating up dudes with tattoos who are making fun of his girl. I mean, like that. How the part that's really funny is on, and I bounce between accounts when I do this so he doesn't like catch on. But he every time he's been catfished, including the LA catfish, I have tried to tell him, dude, you are being catfished, and not because I know anything. He doesn't think I know what Kiwi Farms is. Um, he thinks that I think Walter Fate is terrible. He thinks that I think I'm terrible. Just yeah. But he every single time, and it wasn't even anything like, hey, Kiwi Farms is talking about this being a catfish or anything like that. It was like, hey, do you not like think it's a little weird that somebody who fits everything you've just been talking about that you want just magically appeared and wants you to move in with her? You don't think that's suspicious at all? And he doesn't. He's just stupid. He doesn't. If it were anyone else, I'd feel bad for him because he clearly is just like a borderline moron, and it wouldn't be nice to do shit like that to him. But he targets children, so I mean, catfish him all you want. He's actually getting a little smarter about being catfished since the LA thing, but yeah, he has no idea who my accounts are. There's like three different ones that I have that I've been talking to him on since 2019. Um, and then there's a couple that I've talked to him for in a while that he's blocked. I did not actually believe he was as easy to catfish as everyone was saying, so I created like one or two accounts to actually. It's amazingly easy. Um, there was one where I was like a Spokane art student, and he fell for that one immediately. The one that I'm logged onto now is just some random picture of a Vietnamese model, and she posts videos, so it was easy to like grab videos and show him those. And he thoroughly believed that was a 16-year-old girl that wanted to meet him but couldn't because of COVID. Um, and then the one that actually has screenshots posted to the Kiwi Farms thread, and I know it was mentioned on the Golden USB once or twice. The username, and I still have the account because it's just a neat account name. But the account name is Owls Bathe and Butterbeer, and you can still actually see the DM conversations there where he lost his shit, and that was like a really benign catfish. Like, was not offering anything, just like, hey, I want to get to know you. He lost his goddamn mind when she didn't answer him immediately and started calling her like a bitch and that his parents were millionaires and she should treat him better and not ignore him, and how dare she have a life outside of talking to him. And I mean, holy shit. I mean, he when he does not think somebody else will see his conversation, he is a violent, violent, manipulative man. He is not somebody that you should actually pay any attention to. Actually, let me see here. Owls Bathe and Butterbeer. There we are. Yes, clearly a fake account, but so yeah, this was one. This was the one where I blocked him. This was the first that. Yeah, I know how orders work. So this was with this Lucas Werner 79. This was after he like freaked out, and she said, "Hey, you don't own me. This is scary." And he's like, "Well, you don't know me. You don't know me." And then he blocked, or I blocked him. Um, and then I unblocked him. And he was like, "My parents are wealthy, you stupid bitch." And I love this one especially because he linked to the podcast, and this podcast was trolling him from day one. It took a few episodes and some digging to like get the guy to admit it. And even after the guy who did the podcast started posting to the Kiwi Farms thread, Lucas thought he was still on his side and was just like playing a part. Um, but yeah, Lucas is just yeah. So he wanted me to send a full body nude basically, and I told him, hey, I was watching Netflix. What are you watching? And I didn't answer again for a while, and he just flipped his shit. I mean, this was all. This was literally all within 5 minutes um, of me saying, hey, I'm watching Netflix with my roommates, and this is what I get. And it just goes on and on, like full body. Here's Isaac. He's like, if you don't show me full body nudes, Isaac will get me one. I'm like, no, he won't. My parents are millionaires. You all owe me. I mean, this is insane. Mixed signals. Saying, hey, I'm busy right now is mixed signals. Like, here, I don't want your sweet meats. You don't have any sweet meats. You just, yeah, he's so totally nice. I mean, look how loving and gentle and kind and generous he is. And then he sent me these when he was in his like prison uniform house of charity garb. Like neither one of those. Those are the two least the only way he could be less sexy is if he was not wearing a shirt. Um yeah. Like this is not neither one of these. That's an I'm gonna kill you expression, and that's an I just shat myself expression. Um yeah, he has no redeeming qualities, like absolutely none. Even if he did get inheritance, which I sincerely doubt that he will because of how awfully he actually treats his parents, and the fact that they just let him languish like this because they don't want anything to do with him. I guarantee you, he's been cut out of that will. Oh yeah, that whole shirtless in Seattle playlist I've got. Don't look at that. It's terrible. But yeah, yeah, the shirtless ones are bad. The shirtless ones where he's like waggling his big old titties around, not good. Not good. Not good at all. I'm gonna check one more time and see if he's uploaded anything, which I actually sincerely doubt. But we can always hope. No, it's that last stupid meme. See, I hate it when he posts memes like this too, because he doesn't consider anyone besides himself. Everything he does is with a selfish motive. Oh, come on. They gave him a $25 one for his birthday. You think they're going to leave him 50? Cat. Oh, goddamn claws. Rude. Ugh. Shirtless in Spokane. He's never been to Seattle. I, it's just, I mean, it doesn't baffle me that he thinks he's a kind person. He's a fucking narcissist. And narcissists all think they're great people and everyone around them is just trash. But I kind of wish he'd go back on that kick about how he's an empath and can sense narcissists. Like, honey, no, you cannot. Maybe tomorrow he'll have more of his story up. But yeah, I'm gonna look at this one again because that's his OC. It's just I feel so bad for whoever that guy on the bike is because he just even if it's an actor, I have actually no idea who that is because I'm really out of touch. Do not walk on the keyboard. God damn. That's Could you imagine just like even if you were an actor, just randomly finding something where someone like Lucas used one of your like promo shots as their OC face claim? I just see whoever. I don't know if somebody's encouraging him to do this or if this is just something he decided to do because he was bored and nobody pays attention to his board game videos because they're nonsensical and terrible. But I wish he would just like put together like a big old Weebly site of this story written out so we could just read the whole thing and have fun with it. But he probably won't. But if somebody is encouraging him to do this, for God's sake, please keep encouraging him. This is comedic gold. I see, and a lot of people on the farms disagree, but I think a lot of what he does is a combination of being narcissistic and his mental illness, and like a really, really deeply ingrained defense mechanism. Because if he ever stopped to take a look at his life and seriously take a look at his life, um, he'd fall apart. I mean, nobody could have a life like Lucas and stop and critically take a look at everything that's happened to him in the past like 11 years. And I mean like a serious critical, oh my god, what have I done to myself look, and not just completely lose it. So I do think a large part of it is a combination of his mental illness, but is also just a defense mechanism to the point that he actually believes it at this point. Because not believing it and stopping to think about it would destroy him, like entirely, just completely destroy him. There are times you can kind of tell when he's come close to that realization, and usually it's right before he gets himself an involuntary stay in a psych ward, where he actually does get like borderline suicidal. And there are a couple times. I mean, there's sometimes he's been faking it, and he's admitted that he will go into the ER and claim to be suicidal to just get a free room to get off the streets after he gets banned from shelters. But there have been a couple times where he, like, when you watch the videos, you can tell he had a legitimate mental breakdown and probably was borderline suicidal. And I think those are the times that he comes closest to realizing that it's all his fault, that none of what's happened to him has been anyone else's fault. It's his fault his relationship with Suzanne fell apart. It's his fault he was homeless. It's his fault he's remained homeless. It's his fault his family wants nothing to do with him. It's his fault he can't keep friends. It's his fault he can't make friends to begin with. It's his fault he keeps getting banned from shelters. Oh no, he will threaten suicide. He's done that to Catfish before. If they start like pulling back, or if he gets the idea that they're pulling back or are stringing him along, he'll threaten to kill himself. Well, I mean, he was doing that on the last time right before he got committed. He was on the street screaming. Remember that "Save My Life from Suicide" video? Yeah, that I think was 50% fake and 50% he was just kind of on the verge of a breakdown, because that was right after he was let out of like a 72-hour hold, and they told him they would have housing wait for him, but he swears they didn't tell him that he would have to go through an application process, which is absolute bullshit. He just didn't think, he thinks he'll be let in on virtue of who he is because he thinks he's a celebrity. But yeah, no, he's incredibly manipulative. He absolutely will threaten suicide and self-harm to try to get his way. Um, God, that video of him crying in the park though, that was great. That's an all-time favorite. I love that video of him just like sobbing on his back in the park at night. You just imagine trying to take a nice nighttime walk and some fat hobo is crying about how women won't fuck him on the ground. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the most boring version of Lucas, but from the standpoint of like what Lucas needs to survive, Malin places exactly what he needs. He needs to have no money to get himself in trouble. He needs to be monitored and forced to take his meds, and he needs supervision like a child. He's got like a cognitive level of like a 12-year-old tops. He's not a fully functional adult. And whether that's because he just has had cognitive issues his whole life, or whether it's a side effect of his mental illness, and I'm leaning towards he's just kind of cognitively disabled just in general, because his medications calm him down, but they don't make him any more capable of living on his own. And if you leave him unsupervised, he stops taking his meds because and I get that this trap is easy to fall into for people with mental illness, but when he feels better on his meds and things are working out for him on his meds, he thinks he's cured and he doesn't need the meds, so he stops taking the meds and then he backslides. And the way a lot of mental illness works is when you start to backslide, you don't realize it. Um, but he is most of the time his suicide. He calls them suicide threats, for Christ's sake, not even suicide attempts. Um, so that wasn't even like suicide. And I remember this because in two different DMs with two different accounts, he told me the same thing. When he lost weight and was eating kind of a lowish carb, healthy diet, type 2 diabetes can go away for a lot of people if they start exercising, they start watching their diet, and they move to like a moderate low carb diet. And they just watch what they eat, they get their exercise in, and they lose the weight. For a lot of people, it goes into basically remission. But if you fuck that up, if you fall off the wagon and go back to behaving the way you did before, put the weight back on, start eating like trash again, it comes back. So Lucas was told by his doctor, and he was actually told by his doctor that he did not need his insulin anymore because his blood sugar was stable. He'd lost, a good couple 100 pounds. He was exercising regularly. He was at his little studio apartment place where he had enough money to manage to get food, and he was buying for the budget that he had, relatively healthy food. Even if he can't cook for shit, it was still relatively healthy stuff he was eating, and he was only occasionally eating out. And when he did, it was usually something that was okay. And then he got kicked out of that apartment, and he lost the ability to be able to store food and keep food with him. So he just basically started eating gas station food and fast food and junk food. And despite the fact that he did do a lot of walking because he didn't have anything else to do during the day, he started to put the weight back on. And when the weight came back, you have to start worrying about your blood sugar again if you have type 2. And I remember telling him again on a couple of their accounts, I'm like, hey, you mentioned that you've been putting weight back on, you might want to start testing your blood sugar again. And he straight up told me, he's like, no, the doctor said my diabetes was cured. Hey, let's not bother the kitty, please. Dog again. Let's not, no, he actually, what he took away from the doctor's appointment and said, hey, good job, you don't need your insulin anymore. His brain interpreted that as I'm cured forever. And I know there were a few times on those accounts that as he got bigger and bigger and bigger during his last homeless saga, be like, hey, man, are you checking your blood sugar? Because, type 2 can come back. You should really, you're still getting your state Medicare. I don't remember what it's called in Washington, Provider One. Like, you still have medical care. You can at least check your blood sugar regularly. And he's like, no. The doctor said my diabetes was cured. I don't need to test my blood sugar. It's like, yeah, you do, because your diabetes came back, and now look at your fucking feet. Yeah, exactly. You have to keep your diet changed. You have to keep the exercise up. You can't put the weight back on, and you can't start eating like you used to. Yeah, and he kept saying he was like 220 on the golden USB. Hey, off the shelf. Hey, don't climb the damn bookshelf, dog. Jesus Christ. Are you bored? I think he's bored. I'm boring my dog talking about Lucas. But yeah, no, he's gonna be lucky if he doesn't lose his damn feet. Okay, dog is sitting at the gate, nosing the little bell and whining, and I think that probably means he has to pee. And I've been talking for like way too long, and Lucas isn't like uploading any more fun of his shit. But yeah, he's an idiot. He's an idiot, and he's probably gonna lose some toes or feet or whatever. But if I do not get up and walk away from here soon, there's gonna be dog pee on the floor, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this here and let my dog out. So yeah, maybe he'll have more of his story up tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta let the puppy out, or he's gonna pee on everything.